Your child's just born, just rodent at this point. Where you at?
Yeah, I had literally had just released my self-produced special Relatable. And my wife and I had saved up a little bit of coin because we were living cheap and trying to do the right things. We knew we were going to have a kid. We spent every single dollar to produce this special. I had $400 left in my bank account. We released this special on Netflix, and I told my wife, this is it. Like, we've put our balls on the line here. This has to work. Dude, nothing happens.
Jim Brewer.
Jim Brewer.
Jim Brewer.
Jim Brewer.
Jim Brewer.
Hey, this is Jim Brewer.
Oh, that's the next one. That's the next one. We're gonna metal this. What is it? You know the song, Mike? Any clue?
No, when I hear the band, I immediately think of Sesame Street.
You got it. Bing,
Oh,
bing, 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 bing,
oh,
bing, bing.
there you go.
Yes.
Awesome.
We got to metal out. I got to bring that character back. Heavy metal man just coming out like, oh, you're ready for some metal. And the echo, metal, 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 metal. We're going to metal out Sesame Street, Sesame Street. All right. I'm very goofy today.
A little bit.
So we're going to bring on a comedian, very funny guy, a family guy. I got to get into his family stuff because to be a comedian and be a family guy, that those are two different beasts. There's one thing where you're a comedian, but when you're balancing family and life, whole new level of wow, how are you pulling this off? Which I always have great respect for. You can see him on tour now. Let's just bring on Steve Treviño. What's up, Steve?
Dude, I like join and you're like, rah, rah, Sesame Street. I'm like, all right, well, this is my kind of podcast.
Are you ready for some Sesame Street?
That's one of those things where like you join a conversation and everybody's laughing and you're just like, I'm just gonna let them have fun because I'm gonna it up.
No, not at all.
I'm
not at all. How are you, man? I know. You know what?
I'm good.
I thought we didn't meet, did we? I thought we met, and
we share a mutual friend. Your opening act. And why am I drawing blank? God, I'm Hairbit.
Rich Aronovich.
Yeah, Rich. You know that guy.
This guy with that. As soon as you saw that, I was like, oh my God, he's talking about Rich Aronovich. Oh, that's funny.
That needs to be a new game where you just do like the beginning of somebody's great bit, and then you have to figure out the comedian.
Oh, that's a good idea. We got to, Steve. I think you just created it right here. Let's plan this. This is a great idea.
All right, are you ready? All
right, let me see next.
Here's another one. It's not even a bit. I'm just gonna do a cadence.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay.
You might be a redneck. You know, if there's some comics just have a cadence. You know what I mean?
I didn't see that one. Wait a minute, is that Foxworthy?
Because I do a bad impression. Okay, how about
that was bad? That's a Foxworthy. Like you could be.
Yeah, see, that's better.
Wait. And I'm not saying better. You were like, wait a minute. Let's go to the videotape. Steve Treviño coming out. He's going to do Jeff Foxworthy. You went. I thought you were doing the Swedish Chef on the Muppets. Remember that guy? Remember?
Oh, yeah.
I went, dude. Okay. All right, I got one. Ready, Steve?
Yes.
Do you want any hints?
No.
Okay. Just doing the physical manner.
Brian Regan. Brian,
Bing,
what do you
bing,
think?
bing, bing, bing,
Come
bing,
on.
bing, bing.
All right,
I love
here's
it.
what.
Okay.
What are you, a bozo?
Burr?
Yeah, of course, right? Fucking Am I upset? I hope this is
Oh, oh,
3 seconds into this. People are going to be like, you know what? I'm out. I don't know what the
no,
these
no, I
guys are
think they're
doing.
all in. All right, I got no. Wait, I got no. All right, I got. Okay, you're gonna get this right away. You're gonna get this right away.
Oh, that's easy. Sebastian Maniscalco. What? What? What's the deal? What? What? What's the deal? Now, you will only get this one, and I might fall in love with you today, Jim, if you get this one, because you have to absolutely either be in the scene or
Okay.
you absolutely have to love comedy.
Okay.
Now, this comedian, in my opinion, one of the funniest dudes out there. Okay. And I'm going to do one mannerism. I think you might get it.
All right, give me this. Alive or dead?
Alive, but
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Oh. Oh my. Oh my God. Oh. Oh. Oh damn. Oh damn. Oh damn.
I know you know him.
Yes.
And he's fucking hilarious. I'll give you a hint. Canadian.
Oh. Now
Jeremy
I'm off.
Hotz.
What?
Jeremy Hotz.
I don't know Jeremy.
Oh, you don't know, dude, he's so funny.
I gotta
He's
know
one
Jeremy.
of those. He's one of those dudes, man, that he would come around the Laugh Factory and he would annihilate, and then you would go, "Why is this dude not huge?" And then you find out later that he is huge, but in Canada.
Right. What? Dude, you got to introduce me
Yeah,
then. You got to
yeah.
introduce.
You got to look him up. He's absolutely. Anyway, I don't know
This
how
is
we
my
ended
new
up here.
favorite game, by the way. I'm not even
Yeah.
lying to you, Steve. This is my new favorite game. Guess the comedian. Between the two of us. If you're just listening, I'm telling you right now.
Oh my God!
If you're just listening, do yourself a favor. When you get to wherever you got to get to, just turn on YouTube and watch this. This is for two comics to be able to know comedy where you can just. I mean, yes, we're being silly. We're just throwing off mannerisms and just crush it, bro. This is you got to watch it. But my favorite was Foxworthy, though. That was
that one up.
That's the only one I'm like, what is going on?
I was trying to get the you might well, of course there's the, it's like the Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal?
Amen. That's all I gotta do. Jerry Seinfeld, I just go, Amen.
I'm in Pop-Tarts. I'm doing a bit about Pop-Tarts. But that's what I tell these young comics. I go, man, there is like, you get to a level in comedy where you just know who they are because they're so unique.
Well, you know what that reminds me of, Steve? Like bands. It's no different from a band. So if I grew up like 80s rock and 80s metal. So if I hear a certain tone of guitar, I'll go, oh, this is Van Halen. Before I even heard anything else, I'm like, oh no, that's an Eddie Van Halen. If I hear an AC/DC song, I go, oh, AC/DC. As soon as I hear, I'm like, this is AC. Immediately, I don't even have to hear anymore.
Because it's a brand, right?
Yes.
I mean, but it's even like, what's the difference? What's the difference between Sammy Hagar and David Lee? Well, David Lee has asthma.
David Lee, you're right. Wow, woo. And he's also got he's got a little tick. He's got a tick.
He's got a little
wow.
tick.
Oh God. Wow.
Yeah, he's always taking a breath. Cut that. Cut the cough. Just get the cut the cough. I got the cough. Cut it.
I saw an interview with David Lee Roth. And if you're a Van Halen, unfortunately, all our 20-year-olds are like, what are these guys talking about? If you were a Van Halen, I was a Van Halen fan. I liked Sammy Hagar too, but to me, two different things. And they asked David Lee Roth, what do you think was the major difference? He goes, "Oh, that's easy." I can't do his voice. He goes, "Sammy is always looking for love, and I ain't talking about love." And I went, "Oh my God. That sums up both sides. Every song, Sammy Hagar, why can't this be love? Love comes from." He's always searching. Where Dave Lee Roth is like, "I ain't talking about love." Every song is like, "Yeah, here comes a hot chick, and I want a piece of that."
Right.
Like, oh my God.
Like the humping comics, the comics that just they hump everything, you know. Pablo Francisco,
Oh my God. I haven't
what
heard him in a while.
yeah, when in doubt, hump the stool. Like bung bung, quackity cookity, and then he just humps the stool.
So now, how many kids you got? You got a couple kids, right?
Yep, I got two kids. I hit the jackpot with a son and a daughter.
Nice. Nice.
Couldn't be happier. It is the best thing that has ever happened to me.
Yeah. How old's your oldest?
He'll be 9 in October, and then my daughter will be 4 in November. But it's, I heard you talking about balancing this career and a family. And it's one of the reasons I had kids later in life because I could not raise kids in my car or my
Right.
shitty one bedroom apartment in West Hollywood. I had to make a little bit of money first so that I could go, man, at least I have, and even at the time when I had my son, I was kind of okay. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't even,
Were you making
it could
money?
have,
Like
I was in
when
that.
right before as soon as your son is born, where are you at with, the career, like comedy and all that?
At that point, I am the last guy on the comedy club list to get dates.
Oh, okay.
And and I'm the $2,500 a week Wednesday through Sunday guy.
Got it.
You
Not
know,
it's not only Wednesday through Sunday. What Steve is talking about, what a lot of people don't know, it's Wednesday, Thursday. Sometimes you got to come in Tuesday night because they're like, "Listen, we got 40 radio that
yeah,
we've got 40 radio stations lined up for you to do press." Now, 39 of them, they're not your audience, but they're the most popular.
but
Um,
and Steve, you speak Spanish, right? We'll put you on Telemundo, and
right. And then
and
you're doing
you'll do comedy in English, but you'll talk to them in Spanish.
right.
And then when they show up and can't speak English, they're gonna want their money back.
Yeah,
So
right. Exactly. But it's worth it. It'll get people in the door. So this way, when you're gone, at least they now know I have a comedy club. So on Fridays, 2 shows, Saturdays, 2 shows, sometimes Sunday, sometimes Saturday, 3 shows, which, listen, we're not complaining. We're just saying what it was. So you were Wednesday through Saturday guy. Your child's just born, $2,500 a week. Just
I,
Rodin at this point? Where you at?
yeah, I had literally had just released my self-produced special relatable. And my wife and I had saved up a little bit of coin because we were living cheap and trying to do the right things. We knew we were going to have a kid. We spent every single dollar to produce this special. I had $400 left in my bank account.
Wow.
My wife is pregnant. We released this special on Netflix, and I told my wife, "This is it. Like, if
Wait, so
this,
so Netflix picked it up.
they bought it from me."
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So they bought it from me, and I looked at the wife and I go, "Okay, we got $400. We've put our balls on the line here. This has to work." Dude, nothing happens. Zero things happen.
Right. It's such a great feeling because I know where you're at. I know. I don't mean to laugh. I know exactly what, like, all right, so when this thing comes out, hun, you don't understand. Like, we're making 25. First of all, I'm not working Wednesdays, Thursdays. We're
Yeah.
doing
Pick out a
Fridays,
Rolex.
Saturday. And once they see me in theaters, now the movie people, because they need Latinos, they need a real guy that could do. But dude, I'm in arenas in 4 years, 3 movies.
Yeah.
Oh
No
God,
problem.
yes, we all do that. Why do we do that? All right,
So
go ahead.
nothing happens. I look at the wife and I go, "We got to put these clips on. I know I'm good. I know I'm funny.
Right.
Why don't we break it up into little clips and we'll put it on the internet?"
Mm.
So we break it up into little clips, and then my life completely changed. And literally within a week period,
Mm.
I went from the 25. Well, I called up the Brea Improv, and normally they would give me like a Wednesday for like $200. And I
Okay.
called them up and I said, listen, I don't know what's happening, but I'm going viral with this clip.
Yeah.
I'd like a door deal on a Wednesday.
Mm.
And the manager goes, Trevino, you sold 11 tickets last time you were here.
Right.
Are you sure you want a door deal? And I go, yes. Sold out in 45 minutes. Added another one, sold that one out in 45 minutes. And my life has never been the same.
Wow.
But Hollywood did not call. I did
Yeah.
not get
No.
I did not get another one.
Yeah.
Bullshit, they need Latinos because I'm right here, right? But my touring life changed
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
But they say that kids are good luck. My son was born in October. The special was out that next February. Was when everything changed.
It's almost like this is how I saw it. When your child is on the way and your child is born, and this is no disrespect to anybody who's not a father and you're not that's when I say you really become a man. Like you're a man,
Dude,
but when you're married, you're a man. But when you got a child coming and you're responsible for life, another
yeah.
life, like you're already responsible for your wife, but that life, it puts on goggles of life where you're like, okay, I don't need you and I don't need you. You're just a leash. You're a leech. You guys are all kid. You know what? You're all
Get out of
really
my
bad.
life.
I gotta take control.
Yep.
And it's
Well,
incredible when we finally do that. It's
it's
mind-boggling.
it's it's Saturday night, and you go. I have two. I have the old choice, which is
Right,
get hammered
right.
and wake up late. Take
I
the
was a
light
toker.
late.
I was a toker. I'm like,
Yeah,
the whole crew.
yeah.
We'll meet back in the parking
Everybody.
lot when
Right.
everyone's out and everything. And the cook's like, I'll make you that. Let's do that. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
And then Saturday, you're going. Hey, man, I'm leaving on the first flight on Sunday. I got to go home and be dad, and I got to go
Right,
home and be husband.
right.
And I'm sorry, but they are way more important than getting annihilated with you in the comedy club.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I got to roll. I'm out, and then I'm looking at merch money. Like, okay, well, I got to make a budget here. I got a little bit of merch money, and before it was, yeah, hey, let's go out, take the merch money, fuck yeah.
Right. Go ahead. No, everyone in the staff gets a shirt. Is there a shirt?
Yeah,
No, we'll
yeah,
give
yeah,
it to you
take it
half
off.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, a half off, maybe. Maybe.
No,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's definitely a game change. But I'm and I don't know about you. I wanted to be a dad.
Oh no, I do too. I do
Yeah,
too.
I wanted to be, and I don't know. You ever meet couples and they all they do is shit on their kids, and you go, maybe you shouldn't have had kids.
Yeah, or maybe you shouldn't think your importance outside of being the parent shouldn't be the number one thing over being the parent.
I mean, I have friends that come up to me. They're like, oh, these fucking kids, right? Can't wait to get away from them. And I
Well,
don't know what to say.
well, now in due defense, if those kids are in the teenage years, then I
Oh,
understand.
it's another game. Yeah, it's another game.
I will
But
give you the warning now, Steve. Your oldest one is 9. You've got a good 3 years before when your son when your son starts growing and he starts getting hair and he starts realizing, wow, I am man, he's gonna size you up and then he's gonna start exploiting your weaknesses. And then he's gonna start tapping into mom going, he's I want to do this thing, but dad, I mean,
he's kind of a dick, right?
he
Yeah,
leaves on
yeah.
a Wednesday. And I mean, does he really need that? Like they start. Maybe I'm just doing self therapy right here. But I'll tell you this.
No, that's why we're comics. That's
Yeah,
why we're comics.
exactly. We figured out, okay, I'm not going to go to therapy and pay. I'm going to do my therapy on the stage, and they'll pay as I tell them, and they'll go, oh, okay, we're just
Look,
crazy.
I walk on stage sometimes and go, "You guys realize that this isn't comedy; it's a cry for help."
I know that's
It's it is, and you're laughing at me, and I don't think any of this is funny,
bro. That's very. I know that's funny, and I'm sure I've heard that wraps up my whole. That may wrap up my whole half my act or 90% of it. I'm crying for help. This is our cry for help, and this is the only place we could do it. And thank God we could do it in a manner where everyone's howling with laughter.
and inside, I'm a sensitive little bitch.
Oh.
So instead of dealing with that, I'm just gonna do dick jokes and make everybody laugh. So let's not deal with the pain.
Right.
I'll just joke through it.
Yeah, which is what a lot of people do in life in general. So, all right, another question for you, Steve. We're gonna get honest. Do you cry more often now that you have kids?
Like a bitch.
Oh my God, it's the worst.
And it wasn't until my daughter. The daughter got me.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, we did daddy daughter dance, and she came out. She's 3.5. She came out in her little dress, and my wife goes, "Pin this on her dress," and she goes, "Daddy, are you upset?" And I go, "I'm so happy." I'm like, I mean, pinning that on her and just, and I'll watch a freaking commercial, and I'm like, "F you, St. Jude." Like, how dare you? No, I'm definitely way more sensitive. Way more. I mean, the daughter has literally. I don't want to use pussified,
No,
but
but yeah.
it just softened me. Like, and my son sees it. My son's like, "Dude, why are you treating her that way?" And I'm like, "Because she's a chick.
Yes.
She's my daughter."
Yes.
And I'm sorry it's different, bro, but
no, it is. It has to be different.
It has to
you
be
don't
different.
have a choice. It has to be different.
I gotta raise you to learn how to be a good man. And I have to raise my daughter to see what a good man is supposed to treat her like.
Correct.
Big fucking difference.
Oh, dude, and they watch you like a hawk. Oh. You're gonna know more about yourself in about 5-6 years because your kids are gonna consistently let you know, because they start becoming young when they become young adults. They're basically acting out, and they're taking all the traits from you and your wife, and they create their own little mold. And you sit there watching yourself going, oh my God, is that's the part of me you're picking up? It's pretty amazing. It's awesome. Yeah, go ahead.
Brad Garrett and I have become very good friends over the years, and
Brad.
he was I actually named my son after Brad Garrett.
Really?
Well, it's kind of a long story. I put it in my special, but I was working with Brad when my wife went into labor.
Okay.
And I went over to Brad and I go, "Hey man, we're midweek." I go, "I gotta go. I'm having a baby." And Brad goes, "Of course you are. You're Mexican." Right?
Right.
And I go, "You don't have to pay me. You're Jewish." Right? Big laugh.
Right.
Brad writes me a check, puts it in an envelope, and he goes, "This is for your new baby." Dude, it was $25,000.
Whoa.
And I'm driving home, and I told my wife, because we had not figured out a name yet. I go, "What about Garrett for his first name?" And she goes, "Oh my God, I love it." And then I didn't even know that he had given me that much. It wasn't until I opened it later and I go, "Oh my God, look what he gave us." So that's how he ended up, my son being Garrett. But before I had my daughter, Brad goes, "Do not expect your daughter to be anything like your son."
Oh God, no.
He goes, "They come pre-wired." He goes, "They're pre-wired." He goes, "You can encourage, you can do whatever, but they're going to be who they're going to fucking be." And then they take mom's traits, dad's traits, and it's throw them in a pot, and let's see what happens.
And you sit there and just watch going, oh my God, they picked up the worst trait of you. They got the worst trait of my wife. And then one's got the best of you and the worst of her. The other one's got the worst of me and the best of her.
Because my daughter and watching my daughter and my wife right now is so entertaining, but so painful. Like watching my wife in my daughter's door going, let's go. No, you're not going to change outfits. No, those shoes are fine. And I'm just sitting there like, ooh, bitch. Ooh, now you know what I go through with you. But man, it is such a different dynamic. Me and my son, my daughter and my son. I mean, my wife and my son. And then me with my daughter and my wife with my daughter. It is a whole thing going on at my house.
I know. And so how many dates are you doing? Oh, and do you so you're not doing TV and stuff. This is straight stand up, just stand up.
I'm very similar to a Brian Regan, to a Jim Gaffigan. I mean, Jim later on in life has gotten a lot of TV and film, but my whole career and
no, but what I'm meaning is like me, I just rely on touring. That's all I'm relying
touring.
on. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
I tour. Summer, I just do casinos. Saturday night casinos. I go hard in the spring, hard in the fall. But I don't do Sunday. I want to be home with my family on Sundays. I will do a Thursday if we need to add a show. We're doing anywhere between 2,000 to 5,000 seaters right now. And when it's 2,000 seaters, we find ourselves usually adding one.
Yeah.
Sometimes lately it's been a little rough with the economy, but I try to do Friday, Saturday, and I try to be home Sunday, and I try to leave on Friday at the very latest that I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're at the point where, we get to fly private sometimes, and it's like a time machine,
Now, when you say who are you touring with? Are you touring with a few other people?
Do you know Flip Schultz?
I don't know Flip Schultz.
Jimmy Schubert?
I know Schubert.
Yeah, Shuby comes on the road. Ever since I started doing...
Tell you something. Hey,
Trevino.
Trevino. Trevino's going over here.
Jim Breuer. I've known Jim. Jim was a little guy when I met him. He was real young. And you know what? He comes over, and you want to do some, we're going to have some drinks. What are we doing? Huh? Let's go. These fucking kids, with their fucking cell phones, But when I started doing theaters, I wanted monsters. I wanted the funniest dudes I could find that were willing to open.
Right.
And I pay them well. I pay them like headliners, but
sure,
man, I have so much respect for the fan.
Yeah.
For the guy that's out there working 8 to 5.
Yeah.
If he comes to my show and he spends that $200, $300 for him and his wife to watch me, I want fire, man. I want the very best I can give them.
You want to come out blast, full guns blazing.
I want to yell for that.
Jimmy Schubert.
Jimmy Schubert got him.
Yeah. Well, dude, I don't want to keep you on very long. I just want to say this was some of the most fun I've had ever. So I want to thank you for coming and playing along.
Okay, but before you let me go, I got to tell you a story. Can I tell
you a story?
Please,
I'm dying to hear
it. 18 years old, huge fan of stand-up.
Yeah.
I'm growing up in this tiny town called Gregory, Portland, Texas. Over the Harbor Bridge is a town called Corpus Christi, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
And Mark Babbitt brought you to perform at the Harbor Playhouse. And I'm second row. And I'm like, oh my God, I get to see Jim Breuer. Dude, I have never laughed so hard in my life.
Wow.
You came out doing this whooping crane. And dude, I'm falling out of my seat. And I just remember you stop everything and I'm on the ground and you just go, that's what I'm looking for. And if you f***ers can't do that, I'm out. And you pretended to leave. And it was just one of those moments for me because there was no comedy club in town for me, you
Right.
know. And if somebody wasn't coming to the Harbor Playhouse, I didn't even know what stand up was
Right.
until all of a sudden my senior year in high school, they're promoting Jim Brewer at the Harbor Playhouse, and I'm like, I'm going. And I mean this by no offense to you. I couldn't get anybody to go with me. Nobody cared,
Right.
you know. And I'm like, well, I'm going. And there I was. And then it was a moment where you pointed me out, and it just made me feel so great.
Wow.
And it's one of those core memories in my stand-up journey
Wow.
that has been in my head forever. So when I got the call that we were going to get to do this podcast together, man, it was like full circle kind of a deal where it's like, oh my God, man, I get to sit there and I was I had debated. I'm like, do I tell him the story? Is it cheesy? Because
No, but you
I don't mind being cheesy. Like it doesn't, you know, but it really was a moment in my young life. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, two things. Number one, God, I'm gonna do that.
mm,
And number two, how will I ever be that funny?
wow.
You
Wow.
know, because I mean, your physicality, your energy, the way you interacted with the crowd. I mean, but you remember being a young comic sitting in the back and the
Yeah.
walls are shaking
Yes, yes, yes.
from another comic, and you're like, the are they saying?
Right.
What can they actually be
Right.
saying?
What can
Yeah.
possibly be what is this guy bringing to the table that they're going this bonkers over? Like
Right.
what are they yeah.
But
Wow.
it was really a moment in my young pursuit of comedy
Wow.
watching you. Do you remember doing the Harbor Playhouse in Corpus
Oh yeah,
Christi?
and the reason why I remember that is because I haven't played there. I don't know if that was my first time or second. I think it might have been my second time. And they were so gracious that I was coming to Corpus Christi. And
Right.
that's the part. And when I'm in areas like that, I remember walking around. I remember walking by the beach and going and sitting out there for a while and stuff like that. And I just remember everyone that was running it was super like, "Hey, can we get anything? And dang, we got this guy's gonna cook a meal in front of you." I'm like, "Dude, I'm okay. I'm okay." And they were weirded out that I just was driving my own car and there was no
Yeah, yeah.
entourage. And they're like, "You just pulling up with a Toyota?" I'm like, "Yeah, is that all right?"
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, this guy. And
So,
yeah, I
so
had no
you've been
rider. There's no rider.
right. Well, no, you've been famous a lot longer than I have, and I'm not that famous, but it is. Does it? Because it bothers me when people treat me that way. It's uncomfortable.
It humbles me.
It does humble me a lot.
The reason why it humbles me is because I don't think of myself as like, hey, you know who I am? And when you cross over into losing your ego and losing all that, and you're like, I'm just here to, do the show and make people laugh, blah, blah. And I also do it, to be honest with you, I have a good friend, and we've all heard this term. One of my best friends, Larry, always goes, "Bro," and he's very blue collar. You walking the walk because people are watching, or you talking the talk. And when people, when you have an interaction with a real human being, no matter where they are, and you just humble yourself and you're gracious that they took the time that you might inspire, you could have inspired them. Um, that's a beautiful thing to be able to do and to understand and really put out there. And I know people are watching, and I like we're in a life where we got to set examples. We got to set
Yeah,
examples.
thousand
People are
percent.
all eyes are watching. How many times I'll have I'm infatuated with a star, and then they get a vicious divorce, I'm like, oh, dude, God, you
You
couldn't,
fucked it up. Yeah.
bro. I could, you know how many times I could have just threw this thing? Come
Yeah. No,
on.
there's definitely a responsibility, and there's, you know, I always take the time. You know, my staff also knows that, and my staff is a staff of one, by the way,
Mm,
because I'm the same way. Minimal writer, because my thought is, if I need something because I have family coming or whatever, I'll just get it the day of. I don't
yeah,
need this fucking
yeah, yeah,
spread or whatever, you know.
yeah. Right.
But I tell my road manager Timmy, and he also sells merch. I go, look, man, if there's a veteran out there in a wheelchair or missing a limb, or they come up to you at the merch table and tell you how big of a fan they are, bring them backstage.
Right.
Bring them backstage.
Right.
Let's take a picture with them, because this is something for them that they're going to remember for the rest of their lives.
Right.
It was special to them, and it's special to me because there's two kinds of comedians. There's the ones that walk on stage and go, "You're all so lucky to see me. God, you guys are so lucky that you bought these tickets. You're in the presence of greatness." And then there's comics, the way that I like to portray myself is, "Oh my God, I'm so lucky that you people cared enough to come out and see my bullshit."
Yeah. Right.
You,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah.
by the way, I was doing this for free.
Right. Right.
Like,
Right. Right.
so,
Well. Yeah.
I tell the audience all the time, I go, "Look, I am employed by you. You are my employer.
Right.
So I will always be nice and respectful to the people that pay my bills."
Well, I gotta tell you, thank you for your kindness. I had a lot of fun today. I'm glad. You told me that story, because at the end of the day, I'm sure you're doing the same thing, and there's going to be a bunch of Steve Trevinos running around that you didn't even know about it 10, 15 years from now. Karma always comes back. It's a beautiful
It
thing.
does, man.
So
And I always tell people, don't worry about it. It'll take care of itself,
it'll take.
right?
Ooh, I got stories about that. That's another. That's
'Cause, I
another
mean, how many times as a
8-hour
comic coming
podcast.
up, when I was a young comic and I'm, murdering at the Comedy Store OR, and the agents are like, "Yeah, I want to talk to that dude." And you're sitting there going, "That guy? That fucking guy? That guy eats shit every
You
time
know
he
what he
walks on
does at
stage."
night? Do you have
Yeah,
any clue what he does when he leaves the club
he's
here?
a terrible human. But
Okay.
as the
Okay.
years have gone by, I have continued to do that.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah. And
know,
it's and we're always at where we're supposed to, like, where we're at. Your life is different from this guy. Your life is different from
yep.
that guy. Your life is yeah. You got kids. You got a wife. Sorry, I cut you off for at towards the
No, no,
end.
no, no worries, man. I mean, look, I love doing this. I would love to have you on my podcast. I'd love to come visit you again.
Anytime.
And I always see your face. We're always missing each other by a week or two.
Yeah.
And hopefully we get to meet in person, and then we can take our bags of our eyes like avatars, and we can link them up. We can
I,
link up our bags together like avatars.
I look forward to that. Steve, what a pleasure. Great talking to you. Good luck out there on the road, and I look forward to hanging out again. Thanks for making me laugh today. Have a good
Had a
one.
lot of fun, man. Later, dude.
Later. Steve Treviño, catch him out there. Bro, that was when see, that was a lot of fun. Very rarely do you get to have just simple fun. So Steve brought up a moment that I did at a show that he was at, and you know, those moments, honestly, we're always looking for a trophy or money or whatever as a reward, but those are life's rewards. So for everyone that feels you're too good, you know what? I put all this good out there and I do so much for so many people, and you should never expect anything back. Don't do anything because you're expecting things back. You do it because it's for the good of humanity, period. You pass along good, and then who knows, it may inspire them, may heal them, may become whatever. And that stuff always comes back to you. But the things that we don't understand and what we don't grasp is that time is not your time. You're not here in your time. We've been trained since we're kids, like, oh, we're here on our time, my time. So if I do this and you're not on your time. You're in control of nothing. And most of us don't figure that out until something's taken away from you. Someone in your life is close to you and it's taken away. And that's when you go, wow. Wow. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you do something beautiful for someone, or you have a moment that you point out that's good, even a compliment. When's the last time we just walk down the street and you see a beautiful woman, not lusting, big difference, and you go, she could be older, and just go, I just want to say, hey, listen, I'm married, I have kids, and I just want you to say, if no one's told you, you look beautiful today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Boom, and leave. No, like, hey man, you look good. It's a big difference. It's a big difference. And when you put that good out there, and you may not break that person. You ever open the door for someone and they don't say thank you, and immediately you get annoyed? I used to do that all the time. New York City. I still do it. I always open doors for other people, especially women. I'll open the door, and I will say there's a particular kind that very rarely will say thank you. And what I come to terms with is that ain't on me. I didn't do it for the thank you. I did it because I knew it's a polite thing to do. I'm going to open the door for you because it's the polite thing to do. And me, this is polite. And I'm not going to worry about this person walking through the door and they didn't say thank you. I'm like, you're welcome. How many times do you do that? You're welcome. Well, then you weren't doing it for the right reasons. You're expecting something back. That's not wholesome. You got to walk the walk. We got to start walking the walk. We're going to help so many people out if you just walk the walk. And like I said, when you put that great karma out and the positive energy and the positive vibrations, and always find the good in things instead of the bad in things, always look at the good. If your phone is starting to get like this and you're starting to like, screw that, get rid of it, stop it. Look at pictures of your children. Look at, go outside, take a walk, and change that energy for something more beautiful. Don't you think you deserve that? Don't you think you deserve to create something beautiful, to create something kind, to create something that makes you feel peaceful, create something that would be inspiring in a moment, in a thought, rather than consume your energy with staring at a screen and getting bad feelings and this politician and that politician, or I'm going to you're welcome. That's self-righteousness. That's you're doing it for the wrong reasons. We can all be kind. And if it's not being kind, don't worry about it. That person that kept walking, somewhere along the line, something's going to go on in their world. It may not be super tragic or bad, and they're going to go, wow, I can't believe the way I've been acting for so long. Wow. Dude, how many people, and that guy opened the door and he was so happy, and I just walked by like I deserved it. And those moments, you get humbled. People get humbled. I got plenty of stories that I'll share with you where I felt I was doing completely the good, moral, honest, walk the walk thing. And then I'd get a little frustrated because my timing, I was like, man, this energy better. And then sure enough, it happens. Sometimes it's 5 years later, 10 years later. You don't know your plan. You think you do. You're convinced you do. You don't. You don't. It's that simple. When you grasp that, it's gonna start getting easier to be super kind and loving. And you start appreciate everything, and I mean everything. Walk the walk. I want to thank Steve Treviño for coming on today. All the best to Mike and Margot and Joe Sib and everyone out there listening and watching. We'll see you next week on the Breuniverse.
Take a look around and what do you see? Mark the date down tonight, we'll make it history.
Hey, this is Jim Breuer, and I got my own Patreon page, and hopefully you'll check it out. Live comedy concert streamed once a month. Early access to the Breuniverse podcast every single week, and have bonus footage and bonus segments. I promise you I'm not going to let you down. Go check out my official Jim Breuer Patreon page, and I'll see you there.